Speaking of good news, Mayor Chris Martin making his way into the studio this morning.
Good morning.
It's good to see you, man.
Good seeing you. And I've never heard of 9 square. I've heard of 4 square.
You ever heard of 9 square?
No.
Oh, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Is it?
Yeah.
But the older people like us,
We're
we feel it.
seriously, man. Like every time I do that kind of stuff, I wake up and I'm like, why do I do these things? But it was a good time, man.
Good. Well, your Sunday was obviously full. We attended the Indiana State Fair yesterday, and took the family there, and it was good. I'd never been to a state fair before.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was quite the experience.
It just goes and goes.
Oh my gosh,
like
yeah.
It just goes and goes and goes.
I was like, when's this gonna end?
And you think you got to the end, it's like, oh no, there's a whole other section.
Exactly. It was great.
Next thing you know, you're back downtown Indianapolis.
Exactly.
Like, awesome.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start this morning, man? Like, what's going on?
Well, we're moving and grooving.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of things going on, and obviously one thing that we always reference is 2020 was kind of our off year, right? We don't consider that our start.
Sure.
We consider 2021 our start here in the city, and we're doing amazing things. We've got a committee that meets every month, and this committee is kind of talks about the community priorities.
Yeah.
And it involves Bill Cuppy for the chamber and the school corporation. It involves TIF members, city council members, myself, the deputy mayor, Aaron Shaver for planning and zoning, LMU, Greg Toth. So it just takes all of these folks that are major players in our community that make things happen. We meet once a month. We talked about our projects. We've got 140 some projects going on right now.
Wow.
And they're not all big,
Right.
But it's simple stuff like simply striping the corners, yellow. That's a project. So what we're doing is we're trying to create a map. We're working with Michelle Dahrol, and we're trying to create a map that allows the community to go online and see where every one of those projects is happening. So you'll be able to go and look at a map and say, boom, here's where I live. Oh my gosh, look at all the projects around me.
Right.
To kind of get a feel of what we're working on. And it's just another way for us to be transparent.
I was going to say, that ties right into the transparency, issue that was kind of brought up in the last elections.
Right.
It was a big deal for not just you, but really a lot of people that ran.
Exactly.
So that ties right into
For
that.
sure. And Dahrol's done a great job as the communications director. Really up in our game for the city of Logansport. I mean, we travel, as people have seen. We've been traveling to other communities, and just recently we went to Elkhart. Was it Friday for the Grand Prix there, and the start of the Grand Prix.
Yes.
And so here we are. Had a great lunch with some mayors, and while we were at the lunch, the department head for the parks there in Elkhart was having lunch with us, and we had some conversation. We talked about their ice skating rink and their river walk and those kinds of things. And so we got some information on that, and we're getting some contacts on their Grand Prix and how they were able to put together an Elkhart. So they put together this go-kart Grand Prix. And it's right in their town. They block off the streets, and they have these go-karts just riding around all weekend long, and so it was pretty cool. A lot of festivities, and that's kind of one of the things that we talked about, during the campaign, and obviously while we've been in office, is people like, we want stuff to do. We need stuff to do. So those are the kind of things that we go to these communities and we're like, hey, what do you do? How are your citizens happy with your community? And just kind of getting the feel for that. And one of the things that we've heard is, why would you go to South Bend? Why would you go to Carmel? These are communities that are way bigger than us. They have way more of money, right? And more tax base than we do. Why would you go there? Because we can take that big idea and bring it back to Logansport and size it down to where we need to be.
How can we do something like that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've done. We've done that. The urban park is coming together great. We're really excited about that, especially here in downtown. And
so that's the area right over here.
Correct.
Right, a Little Turtle.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So the lot, 3rd Street right there. You got the winery. You got the alley there that we're looking to make into a 2-way. And then Mike Anderson lot right there. He will still own that.
Okay.
But the lot next to it, TIFF just ended up purchasing, and so that will be the stage that we're working with some people on actually sponsoring. So it'll be a music stage, performance stage there.
Like a permanent install, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then kind of a lawn area so that you can have events within there. And then moving on, once you get to the depot area, right in front of the depot there, so from the alley to Melbourne will then be pedestrian only. And so we're looking at putting some concrete pavers in there or whatever, and then an at-grade fountain with some lights, so that the kids can play. But then at nighttime it also lights up,
Sure.
so it's pretty cool.
Looks neato, yeah.
We've got 3 train cars that have been donated by Transco here in Logansport that we're going to restore, and then we're going to make one of them into a concession stand and the other 2 into restrooms.
Okay.
So we'll be able to bring that train history into the community right there by the depot. And then, of course, in that area as well, we'll have a pavilion for folks to be able to eat. But then we'll also have things like cornhole. We'll have, some outdoor gaming so that people can just come downtown and just enjoy the area.
Which, if you've seen the renderings, it looks like it's going to be phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal.
Right, yeah. And so visiting these communities, that's one of the things I bring up. Hey, we're working on an urban park.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? What do you think about this? What are you doing in your parks?
Right.
And just kind of bringing those ideas back. One thing that we talked about was an ice rink. Being able to put an ice rink in, and we kind of ran around with, do we want to have a portable one? Well, then where do you store it? And what about the maintenance of that? Well, if we put a permanent one in, well, can you put grass over it during the summer? Those kinds of things. So it's trying to figure those things out. South Bend and Elkhart have permanent ice rinks. So during the winter time, they ice it up, so they have their ice rink. But then in the summertime, it's just concrete.
Oh, wow.
So just trying to figure out that, those kinds of things. So, but it's going well.
Also, the urban park is going to really just sort of, promote even more stuff going on downtown.
Exactly.
Which it's already like seeing a lot of revitalization, a lot of life springing, downtown recently.
Yeah, and it's great. And there's so many ideas. For example, I can never shut this off. My job, my career right now, in my life dream that I'm living, I cannot shut it off. So for example, this last weekend we went to Michigan. We went to Ludington, Michigan, stayed in their downtown in an Airbnb, and I just being in their downtown, I'm like, oh my gosh, ideas, boom, here, that. And then there was things that they had like festivities and stuff, and I'm like, my mind is just constantly working like, oh man, this would work in Logansport, so then I'm writing it down, and so it's crazy. But and it's crazy because yesterday I talked about how when we came in office, how young we were, and how people were doubting, oh gosh, he's not going to care about the downtown, he's going to care about the big box stores. And honestly, the big box stores, I think we just keep on the east end. We let the mall develop out there. We talked about the 18th and Heartland project that we're really getting going out there by Ivy Tech, the disc golf course and everything else that's coming out there. Those pieces are coming together great as well.
Awesome.
Keep those big box stores out there, and then kind of bring and revitalize our downtown at the same time.
So let's move east and talk about that, because there was some movement with even more demolition going on.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, lots happening, a lot of changes, a lot of things going down, but things will be coming up.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're not tearing down and putting a parking lot.
No.
We're tearing down and we're building up. And I think that's a big point to make with the changes that you're seeing. So the mall, what we called the mall, is now the Junction. And so obviously with that, the movement happens, right? So we're going to see the front facing of Dunham's and some other stores that are hopefully coming in. Those are things that they just happen, right? They just roll. I think what the main piece of the East End is going to be the breaking ground of the home to suites. When that home to suites starts building up, I think that's when you're going to start seeing more and more interest from these big box stores and these Texas Roadhouses and these nice restaurants, because of the atmosphere of the Home to Suites brand.
You ever stayed in one?
No.
It's fantastic.
Is it?
Oh, it's fantastic.
They're Hilton brand, so they're nicer rooms, nicer hotels. And so that's going to attract your nicer retail, those kinds of places. So So I think that's where that piece of the junction is going to kind of come together, is that home to suites deal. So
Yeah, that's who, like when we go out of town, like when we stay somewhere, that's what we specifically look for.
yeah,
Is a home to suite. They're awesome.
they are.
Yeah.
They're great. So yeah, so we're excited about that. And then obviously the water plant and the power plant are coming down.
Yep.
And one thing we talked about was a beer garden idea with the parking lot over there where the water plant's coming down. We're looking at a beer garden type effect. One thing to reference would be Mishawaka
Okay.
and their beer garden. So if you get on the computer or Google Mishawaka, Indiana, their beer garden there, that's kind of what we want to kind of create. We're also working on a river walk to go from the carousel to just before 6th Street. So not quite to 6th Street, but just before 6th Street there. So we're working on a river walk. So we're also working on that area. We're working on housing to go up where the power plant's going down. We're working on possibly a skate park going where the water tower and that little building is, coming down. So many things, happening, and it's amazing. And it's not just us, it's the community coming together. And it gives me pleasure knowing that those naysayers, the negative people, the negative Nellies, the keyboard warriors, if you will, when they start coming and attacking just the community, not necessarily us, but the community, you've got people now that are like, you know what, you don't realize what's going on. We've got a great community.
Yep.
It's building up. So it gives me comfort knowing that there are people out there that.
No, you're
that are
absolutely. I mean,
loving
I've seen people that I never really would have imagined that would like fire right back and say, "Listen, we have plenty going on." It's like, wow, okay, not expect that from you, but that's awesome.
Exactly.
But I mean, you're right. That's beginning to happen because people are beginning to buy into what we got here,
Exactly.
and they're getting to see firsthand that movement's happening, and it's a good thing.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing. We put politics aside. You know what I mean? We don't care about politics here. When it comes to the community, that's what we're about.
Right.
We're about the heart of the community in the city of Logansport.
There's too much at stake.
Exactly.
I mean, there's too much to be drowned in petty differences.
Exactly.
Like that, you know what I mean?
Yes. I do want to plug in a couple things here.
All right.
August 28th is the Carousel Fun Day. Got to come down to Riverside Park August 28th. Starts at 10 a.m. And then the Out of the Darkness event, September 11th. That starts at 7 p.m. at Riverside Park. That is for the suicide awareness.
Yeah, the Zero Suicide Task Force.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
So they're doing a lantern release and a 1 mile walk.
Yes. Which in 2019 I think is Dahrol. Did we attend that one right in 2019? Yeah, it was great event, and so I think this one's going to be even better.
Awesome, good deal. Well, hey, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
It's great to see you.
Yes,
always.
Appreciate it. Sorry we got a little delayed, but
it's okay.
We're here.
I'm a trained professional, Chris. All right, that'll do it for Talk of the Town today, and we'll come back and do it again tomorrow. So until then, have a great Monday. See ya.